Hello everyone. Today we will talk about strategy implementation, organizing for action. Strategy implementation involves the activities and decisions necessary to execute a strategic plan, transforming objectives and policies into actionable programs, budgets, and procedures. While often viewed as a subsequent phase to strategy formulation, implementation is crucial to effective strategic management, with both aspects being interdependent. Poor implementation is a frequent cause of strategic failures, as evidenced by studies showing that many acquisitions do not meet expectations. Common issues include inadequate communication, unrealistic synergy expectations, structural challenges, and lack of commitment from top management. Research indicates that companies must capitalize on merger synergies within the first 2 years, with a significant portion realized in the first year. To effectively initiate implementation, strategy makers must consider essential questions regarding the personnel responsible for executing the plan, the alignment of company operations with strategic goals, and the collaboration required among team members. Addressing these questions early in the strategic process and revisiting them before implementation is vital for achieving desired outcomes. Who are the people who will carry out the strategic plan? What must be done to align the company's operations in the new intended direction? How is everyone going to work together to do what is needed? A survey of 93 Fortune 500 firms identified 10 common problems encountered during strategic change implementation, ranked by frequency. Extended implementation time. Projects took longer than planned. Unforeseen major issues. Unexpected problems arose. Ineffective coordination. Activities were not well coordinated. Distractions from competing priorities. Other activities and crises diverted attention. Insufficient employee capabilities. Involved employees lacked the necessary skills. Inadequate training. Lower-level employees were not properly trained. External environmental challenges. Uncontrollable factors created obstacles. Weak leadership. Departmental managers failed to provide adequate direction. Poorly defined tasks. Key implementation activities were not clearly outlined. Ineffective monitoring systems. Information systems did not sufficiently track progress. These issues highlight the complexities of implementation and the need for thorough planning and support to ensure successful strategic change. Strategy implementation involves creating programs that translate strategic goals into concrete actions, allocating budgets for these activities, and establishing procedures for daily operations. Programs. The goal of a program is to make strategy actionable. For instance, Xerox's turnaround strategy included the Lean Six Sigma program, which aimed to reduce costs by improving processes. After training executives, Xerox launched around 250 Six Sigma projects, resulting in $6 million in savings in the first year. Typically, corporate headquarters manage 10 to 30 active programs. For example, Ford Motor Company initiated a program to develop an organic substitute for petroleum-based foam in vehicle seats. Matrix of change. To assess the impact of new programs on existing activities, managers can use a matrix of change. This framework allows for comparison of new programs. Determine if they are complementary, interfering, or neutral. Examination of existing practices. Use the same symbols to analyze interactions among current activities. Interaction effects. Compare new programs with existing practices to identify conflicts. Evaluation of importance. Assess each program's significance in achieving strategic goals. Identification of problem areas. Spot conflicts that may hinder implementation. Key questions addressed by the matrix. Feasibility. Are the proposed and existing activities coherent and stable? Sequence of execution. Where should changes start, and how does the sequence affect success? Location. Is it better to implement changes at a new site or reorganize existing facilities? Pace of change. Should changes be gradual or rapid, and which activities must shift simultaneously? Stakeholder evaluations. Are there overlooked activities or interactions? Should more stakeholder input be sought? This matrix provides valuable insights into the optimal timing, location, and speed of implementing strategic changes. Timing tactic refers to the strategic decision about when a company should implement its strategy. Timing can be critical because entering a market too early or too late can significantly affect success. A well-timed strategy helps a firm maximize opportunities and minimize risks. First mover refers to the company that is the first to manufacture and sell a new product or service. Being a first mover can bring major advantages, such as establishing brand recognition, setting industry standards, and capturing a large share of the market early. However, it can also involve high risks, including uncertain market response and the costs of pioneering new technology or processes. Late movers, on the other hand, choose to enter the market after others have already established products or services. Their strategy often focuses on learning from the first mover's successes and mistakes. By waiting, late movers can imitate technological advances, reduce risks, and benefit from a more stable market. They can also take advantage of gaps that the first mover might have overlooked, such as niche market segments or improved versions of existing products. In short, timing tactics shape a company's competitive edge by determining whether it leads innovation or strategically follows others to minimize risk and exploit market opportunities. OK. Market location tactics. Where to compete. Here we explain how companies decide the geographical or market area where they will implement their competitive strategies. This decision is crucial because the location of competition can significantly influence the firm's ability to grow, defend its market share, or challenge competitors effectively. Market location tactic refers to the strategic decision of where to implement a company's strategy. It involves selecting markets, regions, or segments that provide the best opportunities for success. The right location can help the firm reach its target customers more effectively and position itself strongly against competitors. Offensive tactic occurs when a company enters or competes in a market already dominated by an established competitor. The purpose of this tactic is to challenge the competitor directly, capture part of their market share, and position the firm as a strong alternative. For example, a new coffee chain opening in a city where Starbucks is dominant is using an offensive strategy to compete in the competitor's territory. Defensive tactic, on the other hand, focuses on protecting the company's existing market. Instead of entering new territories, the firm strengthens its current market position to prevent rivals from gaining ground. This may involve improving customer service, launching loyalty programs, lowering prices, or innovating products to discourage competitors from entering. Budgets. Once programs are developed, the budgeting process begins. This step serves as a critical check on the feasibility of the chosen strategy helping to identify impracticalities only after detailed cost assessments. For instance, Cadbury Schweppes recognized its dependency on Ghanaian cocoa for its growth strategy and initiated the Cadbury Cocoa Partnership, budgeting $87 million over 10 years to support cocoa farmers in increasing their yields. Procedures. After budgets are approved, procedures, also known as Standard Operating Procedures (SOPs), must be established. These procedures outline the activities necessary to carry out the corporation's programs and are essential for consistent operational execution. They must also be updated to reflect changes in technology and strategy. For example, companies pursuing a differentiation strategy require closer management of their sales force to foster long-term customer relationships, which inform product development. In retail, procedures ensure consistency in daily operations across stores. Well-planned procedures minimize poor service by holding employees accountable. For instance, McDonald's implements detailed procedures to maintain high service quality. Before successfully implementing a new strategy, existing procedures may need revision. Home Depot, for example, had to enhance productivity for its expansion into services, streamlining communication to eliminate redundancy. CEO Robert Nadelli directed managers to simplify processes and invested in workload management software to improve efficiency. Achieving synergy. A key objective in strategy implementation is to achieve synergy among functions and business units. This is often a driving force behind corporate reorganizations following acquisitions. Synergy is defined as the situation where the return on investment (ROI) for each division within a corporation exceeds what those divisions would achieve if they operated independently. In other words, the collective performance of the divisions is enhanced through their integration and collaboration, creating greater value than the sum of their individual efforts. Achieving this synergy can lead to improved efficiency, innovation, and overall corporate performance. According to Gould and Campbell, synergy can manifest in 6 key forms. Shared know-how. Units benefit from exchanging knowledge and skills, leveraging core competencies. For example, Procter & Gamble acquired Gillette to combine insights into female and male consumers. Coordinated strategies. Aligning strategies across business units can reduce competition among them and enhance responses to common rivals. The merger of ArcelorMittal Steel improved R&D capabilities and global reach. Shared tangible resources. Units can save costs by sharing physical resources, such as manufacturing facilities or R&D labs. The partnership between Renault and Nissan exemplifies this, allowing both companies to build shared factories. Economies of scale or scope. Coordinating operations between units can reduce inventory, improve capacity utilization, and enhance market access. Delta Airlines' acquisition of Northwest Airlines is a case in point. Pooled negotiating power. Combining purchasing efforts enables units to gain leverage over suppliers and reduce costs. Federated Department Stores' acquisition of Macy's and the May Company allowed for improved purchasing power across its stores. New business creation. Collaborating on knowledge and skills can lead to the development of new products or services. Oracle's acquisition of various software companies to create Project Fusion illustrates this, enabling integrated solutions across business functions. These forms of synergy highlight how strategic alignment and collaboration can enhance overall corporate performance. Before plans can translate into actual performance, a corporation must ensure it is well organized, adequately staffed, and focused on achieving its objectives. Any change in corporate strategy often necessitates adjustments in organizational structure and skill requirements. Managers should assess whether changes are needed in how work is organized, decision-making authority, and the level of control exercised within the company. Alfred Chandler's study of major U.S. corporations found that organizational structure typically follows strategy. He noted that as companies expand and adopt new strategies, they often face administrative challenges that lead to inefficiencies. Chandler outlined a sequence of events. A new strategy is developed. Administrative problems arise. Economic performance declines. A new structure is created to address these issues. Profitability returns to previous levels. This highlights the importance of aligning organizational structure with strategic objectives for effective performance. Chandler's research revealed that companies often begin with a centralized functional structure, which works well for managing a limited range of products. However, as firms expand by adding new product lines, securing their own supply sources, and building distribution networks, this centralized model becomes inefficient. To handle greater complexity, firms must shift to a decentralized divisional structure, where several semi-autonomous divisions operate under central strategic direction. Alfred P. Sloan's reorganization of General Motors in the 1920s is a classic example. GM moved to a decentralized structure where corporate leadership set overall strategy, while individual divisions like Chevrolet and Buick implemented it independently. This allowed flexibility, innovation, and accountability, with ROI used as a key financial control tool. Similarly, Arctic Cat adopted divisional units in 2008 after years of growth, illustrating how structure often follows strategy in response to environmental changes. The alignment of strategy, structure, and environment is critical for organizational performance. For instance, a business pursuing a differentiation strategy requires more autonomy than one pursuing a low-cost strategy. While no single structure fits all organizations, firms in the same industry often adopt similar designs, such as GM's divisional model for automakers or P&G's matrix structure for consumer goods. Stages of corporate development. Successful corporations typically follow a structured developmental path as they grow. This process involves transitioning through several organizational stages. Stage I. Simple structure. In this initial stage, the entrepreneur makes all key decisions and manages every aspect of the business. The lack of formal structure allows for flexibility and quick responses, but it also creates a heavy reliance on the entrepreneur's vision. If the entrepreneur falters, the company struggles, leading to a crisis of leadership. For example, Oracle's co-founder, Lawrence Ellison, initially thrived on technical innovation but faced challenges due to weak financial controls. Stage 2. Functional structure. As the company grows, it transitions to a functional structure with specialized management teams. This requires the entrepreneur to delegate responsibilities effectively. The corporate strategy at this stage often focuses on industry dominance through growth. While specialization can lead to success, it also risks creating a crisis of autonomy, as diversified product lines require more decision-making freedom than top management is willing to grant. Stage 3. Divisional structure. In this stage, the company manages diverse product lines across various industries, decentralizing decision-making authority. Each division operates as a functionally organized entity, leading to a crisis of control, where divisions prioritize their own goals over corporate objectives. Examples of Stage 3 corporations include General Electric and General Motors, which leverage their vast resources but may become inflexible due to their complexity. Stage 4. Beyond SBUs. As organizations evolve into strategic business units (SBUs), they may encounter a red tape crisis, where excessive bureaucracy hampers effective management. Increasing complexity and environmental uncertainty demand advanced organizational structures that prioritize collaboration over rigid systems. Emerging models like matrix and network structures facilitate teamwork and adapt to dynamic market conditions. However, these collaborative environments may lead to employee burnout due to high demands for innovation and teamwork. Blocks to changing stages. Corporations often encounter challenges when trying to advance to the next stage of development, facing both internal and external obstacles. Internally, issues such as a lack of resources and a refusal by top management to delegate decision-making authority can impede progress. Additionally, successful founders frequently struggle to create the new organizational structures required for growth, resulting in difficult transitions. Historical examples include General Motors under William Durant and Apple under Steve Jobs, where the founders' limitations hindered the company's evolution. Entrepreneurs typically possess 4 tendencies that serve them well in small ventures, but can become liabilities in larger organizations. First, loyalty to comrades can lead to favoritism, which is beneficial initially but detrimental as the company grows. Second, a strong task orientation may shift from being detail-oriented to excessively focused on minutiae, detracting from strategic vision. Third, single-mindedness can transform from a grand vision into tunnel vision as the business diversifies into new markets. Lastly, working in isolation may benefit innovators but can be detrimental for leaders who must manage multiple stakeholders. These challenges are often compounded by founders who attempt to maintain their influence through the hiring and training of a team that reflects their values. This practice can create a culture resistant to change, as seen in Walt Disney Productions, where the organization continued to prioritize Walt's policies long after his death. While this loyalty can strengthen the organization, it can also hinder necessary evolution by supporting the status quo. The organizational life cycle explains how organizations grow, develop, and may eventually decline, focusing on the dominant strategic challenges they face at different stages rather than only on structure. It parallels the product life cycle and includes 5 main stages: birth, growth, maturity, decline, and death. In the early stages, companies often expand rapidly, but as they mature, their existing structures, processes, and cultures may become rigid and less adaptable, leading to decline, even if the strategy remains sound. However, decline is not inevitable. Companies can experience a revival phase during maturity or decline through innovation, new product development, or acquisitions. This turnaround can extend the life cycle if the actions are strategic and difficult for competitors to imitate. For example, Eastman Kodak, facing decline due to the digital shift, leveraged its existing technology in ink and printing to re-enter the market competitively, disrupting the traditional pricing model for ink cartridges. If a company cannot address critical issues during the decline stage, it risks entering stage V death, often leading to bankruptcy or liquidation, as seen with Pan American Airlines and Montgomery Ward. Some companies, like Kmart, have managed to reorganize and emerge from bankruptcy, while most are liquidated. Importantly, not all firms move through these stages in the same sequence or at the same pace. Some may stall in early stages, while others jump directly to decline. The key to long-term survival is the early identification of stage transitions and timely strategic and structural adjustments to sustain or improve performance. Advanced types of organizational structures. As business environments evolve, traditional organizational structures, simple, functional, divisional, and conglomerate, may not provide the flexibility needed for modern strategies. Companies are increasingly adopting less centralized structures and utilizing cross-functional work teams. Two prominent advanced structures that embody these changes are the matrix structure and the network structure. Matrix structure. The matrix structure combines functional and divisional elements simultaneously, allowing organizations to leverage the stability of functional departments while maintaining the flexibility of product-focused teams. In this setup, employees report to both a functional manager and a product or project manager, creating a dual authority system. This structure is particularly effective in complex and dynamic markets, as it encourages collaboration and resource sharing. However, it can lead to conflicts regarding duties, authority, and resource allocation, especially when goals are unclear or technology is not well understood. The development of the matrix structure typically unfolds in three phases. Temporary cross-functional task forces, initially formed when a new product line is introduced. These teams are led by a project manager who serves as the key link between different functions. Product/brand management. As these cross-functional teams become more established, project managers transition into product or brand managers, integrating their roles within a semi-permanent structure while maintaining functional organization. Mature matrix. The final phase features a fully developed dual authority structure where both functional and product aspects are permanent. Employees maintain connections to both vertical and horizontal managers, necessitating collaboration to resolve resource and priority conflicts. Companies like Boeing, Philips, and TRW Systems exemplify this mature matrix structure, showcasing its effectiveness in managing complex projects and fostering innovation across departments. Network structure. The virtual organization. The network structure represents a modern and innovative organizational design characterized by the outsourcing of many in-house business functions, leading to what can be described as a non-structure. This design results in a virtual organization composed of project groups or collaborations linked through dynamic, non-hierarchical electronic networks. It is particularly beneficial in unstable environments where rapid innovation and responsiveness are crucial. In a network structure, companies often rely on contracted personnel for specific projects rather than maintaining a large salaried workforce. Long-term contracts with suppliers and distributors replace certain in-house capabilities, supported by electronic markets and advanced information systems that lower transaction costs. This allows organizations to effectively act as a shell, with a small headquarters serving as a broker connecting to fully owned divisions, partially owned subsidiaries, and independent firms scattered globally. Entrepreneurial ventures frequently start as network organizations. For example, Randy and Nicole Wilburn run various businesses from home, utilizing freelancers and virtual assistants rather than traditional employees. Large companies like Nike and Benetton also employ network structures by outsourcing manufacturing to cost-effective locations, maintaining control and quality through careful planning and support for their subcontractors. While the network structure offers increased flexibility and adaptability to technological changes and global trade dynamics, it has drawbacks. Critics argue it may be inherently unstable and can lead to tensions among partners. Additionally, the focus on outsourcing can prevent firms from realizing internal synergies and may risk overspecialization, potentially making them non-competitive if they choose the wrong functions to emphasize. Cellular modular organization, a new type of structure? Experts suggest that organizational evolution is progressing from matrix and network structures to a cellular or modular form. This structure is characterized by self-managing teams and autonomous business units, which can operate independently while also interacting with other cells to enhance overall business efficiency. This blend of independence and interdependence fosters the sharing of knowledge and expertise, driving continuous innovation. The cellular/modular organization incorporates elements from various structures. The divisional structures dispersed entrepreneurship, the matrix's customer responsiveness, and the network's self-organizing capabilities. For instance, Bombardier organized the design of its continental business jet into 12 components, utilizing both internal divisions and external contractors to manage production effectively. This structure is particularly effective when products can be divided into self-contained modules that can be easily integrated. It mirrors a trend in using internal joint ventures to combine specialized skills temporarily for tasks that individual units may struggle to accomplish alone. The push for constant innovation across industries fuels the adoption of this model, as each cell has an entrepreneurial responsibility to contribute to the larger organization. Ultimately, the cellular/modular structure maximizes the use of a firm's knowledge assets, making it suitable for companies focused on rapid innovation in sectors like automotive, consumer electronics, and software development. Re-engineering and strategy implementation. Re-engineering involves the radical redesign of business processes aimed at achieving significant improvements in cost, service, or time. While it is not a specific organizational structure, it serves as an effective approach for implementing turnaround strategies by challenging established rules and procedures that may have become outdated. Organizations often rely on ingrained policies that were set long ago, which can hinder progress if not reevaluated. Michael Hammer, a key proponent of re-engineering, outlines several principles for successful implementation. Organize around outcomes. Design jobs based on objectives rather than tasks. User-driven processes. Enable those who utilize the output to perform the process themselves. Integrate information processing. Allow departments that produce information to also process it, rather than passing raw data to others. Centralized resource management. Treat geographically dispersed resources as centralized for better coordination. Link parallel activities. Facilitate communication between units performing different activities instead of integrating their results later. Decentralize decision-making. Empower employees at the work level to make decisions and control their processes. Efficient information capture. Collect information once at the source and make it accessible across the organization. The results of re-engineering programs have been mixed. Some organizations, like Caterpillar's Morseville Engine Center, have successfully reduced process cycle times and improved operations significantly. A survey indicated that 75% of executives reported successes in reducing costs and increasing productivity through re-engineering. However, other studies suggest that 50% to 70% of re-engineering initiatives fail to meet their goals, indicating that while re-engineering can effectively redesign specific processes, it may not be as successful in transforming entire organizations. Six Sigma. Six Sigma, developed by Motorola in the mid-1980s, is a quality improvement and cost-saving program that aims for near-perfect production results. Originally focused on manufacturing, its principles are now applied across various sectors, including accounts receivable, sales, and R&D. The term sigma represents variation in statistical analysis, with 1 sigma reflecting 690,000 defects per million. Most companies operate at 3 sigma, or 66,000 defects per million, while 6 sigma targets only 3.4 defects per million, significantly reducing waste and enhancing efficiency. The 6 Sigma process follows 5 key steps. Define. Identify a process with below-average results. Measure. Assess the current performance of the process. Analyze. Determine the root causes of issues. Improve. Enhance the process to eliminate errors. Control. Implement measures to prevent future defects. Firms implementing 6 Sigma have reported annual savings ranging from 1.2% to 4.5% of revenue. Notable adopters include General Electric, Ford, and ABB, with about 35% of U.S. companies currently using the methodology. For instance, each 6 Sigma project at Dow Chemical has yielded approximately $500,000 in savings within the first year. However, there are disadvantages. Training costs can initially outweigh savings, and the effort required to compile and analyze data may exceed the benefits, especially in non-standardized processes. Additionally, 6 Sigma might encourage safer, incremental innovations rather than more adventurous, blue sky projects. A newer variant, Lean Six Sigma, combines the statistical rigor of 6 Sigma with lean manufacturing principles from Toyota. This approach focuses on eliminating unnecessary steps in processes while improving the remaining ones. Companies like Xerox have successfully applied Lean Six Sigma to troubleshoot and resolve operational issues, such as problems with new printing technology. Designing jobs to implement strategy. Implementing a company's strategy involves not only restructuring the organization, but also redesigning individual jobs. As businesses increasingly focus on re-engineering, they are re-evaluating their work processes to eliminate unnecessary roles and activities. By shifting from sequential task completion to concurrent processes using cross-functional teams, companies can enhance efficiency. For instance, Harley-Davidson reduced its workforce by 25% while having the time required to build a motorcycle. Job design is crucial for aligning tasks with both company goals and employee satisfaction. To address the downsides of task specialization, organizations employ various techniques such as job enlargement combining similar tasks, job rotation moving workers through different roles, and job enrichment increasing autonomy and control. The job characteristics model exemplifies job enrichment, highlighting the importance of making jobs more engaging. A modern example of effective job design is Corning Inc.'s team-based production approach at its Blacksburg, Virginia plant. With union support, Corning significantly reduced job classifications and organized workers into self-managing teams of 14 members. This structure allowed for skill rotation and minimized management levels, with only a plant manager and 2 line leaders. Workers faced demanding shifts and were required to learn multiple skills, enabling them to retool production lines rapidly. As a result, the plant achieved a $2 million profit within its first 8 months, contrary to earlier projections of a $2.3 million loss. Due to this success, Corning decided to adopt team-based production across its other factories. An international company is any firm engaged in activities across national borders, such as exporting, importing, or manufacturing abroad. A multinational corporation (MNC) goes further by managing operations worldwide with a global perspective in decision-making. To be considered truly global, an MNC must manage its international activities as an interconnected system, which becomes essential when industries shift from being multi-domestic. Each country operates separately to global countries are part of one integrated market. MNCs face the dual challenge of standardization and local customization. Standardization is driven by factors such as converging customer preferences, global competition, economies of scale, falling trade costs, and cultural exchange. In contrast, customization is necessary because of differences in preferences, incomes, regulations, and local competition. Balancing these forces influences how firms structure their global operations and determine the degree of centralization versus decentralization. A key tool for entering foreign markets is the use of international strategic alliances, such as joint ventures and licensing agreements with local partners. Success in these alliances depends on careful partner selection and strong strategic fit. Trust building over time is critical, especially in uncertain environments. Successful alliances share key drivers, common values, and a shared vision. Alignment with business and corporate strategies, strategic importance to both partners, mutual dependence and clear objectives, added value to customers and stakeholders, contribution of unique strengths while protecting core competencies. Through such alliances, MNCs can effectively expand globally, combining global efficiency with local responsiveness. The stages of international development describe how corporations evolve as they expand globally, both in market reach and organizational structure. Stage 1: Domestic company. The company focuses mainly on its home market, but begins exporting products through local distributors abroad. The impact on organizational structure is minimal, usually handled by an export department at headquarters. Stage 2: Domestic company with export division. As export success grows, the company establishes its own sales offices in foreign countries, eliminating middlemen. An export division is created to coordinate and manage foreign sales. Stage 3: Primarily domestic company with international division. The company expands further by setting up manufacturing, sales, and service operations in key countries. An international division is formed to oversee and manage these activities abroad. Stage 4: Multinational corporation with multi-domestic emphasis. The firm becomes a full MNC, creating local operating divisions in host countries like Ford of Britain. Each subsidiary operates with significant autonomy, managing its own functions such as product development, marketing, and finance. Although part of a global company, each country's operations are managed as if they were domestic companies. Stage 5: MNC with global emphasis. The most advanced stage involves global integration of resources, R&D, and financing. Operations are planned worldwide, and the company often adopts a matrix structure combining geographic areas, product lines, and functions. Managers handle both domestic and international issues. Research supports these stages as a useful framework, but notes that companies do not always follow them in strict order. Some firms may leapfrog stages, operate at different stages simultaneously for different products, or remain regional rather than fully global. Technological advances, particularly in information systems, are also giving rise to a possible sixth stage, where companies establish multiple global headquarters.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to channel.